up to softball size hail with some of these storms just south of the Nebraska-Kansas line near Phillipsburg in Kansas. So again, we've taken storm tracker radar out of loop mode because we had a little bit of an issue getting some information for a couple of frames. So this gives you a very good idea now at how close those storms are getting to western portions of Lancaster County and certainly the Lincoln Metro. And remember, just because the precipitation isn't falling in the Lincoln Metro doesn't mean that the strong winds aren't preceding that heavy precipitation. So again, situation is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:30 this late afternoon, early evening for Lancaster County, including the Lincoln Metro. 70-mile-per-hour winds going to be possible with these storms, and 1-inch size hail as they continue to track off to the east, as I mentioned, at about 50 miles per hour. So Brandon, let's try getting back into the loop mode here and remind everybody. That'll give you a good idea of the last couple of frames, and we really just want you to pay attention to these last couple of frames. You can see we're missing some information there about a half hour ago, but these last couple of frames now give you an idea of those storms and how quickly they're moving off towards the east. I'm going to step off the screen here a little bit. Let's zoom out, move back to the west, and because we've got a tremendous amount of severe thunderstorms that continue across portions of the coverage area. There's an additional warning there for portions of Clay, Fillmore, Nuckolls, and Thayer, also for 70-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch size hail. Those storms again will be moving to the east between 35 and up to 45 or 50 miles per hour. So again, this is just the latest image right here. You can see certainly could be threatening the Bruning area. Folks in Geneva need to be on the guard as well. And then downstream, folks in western and maybe even Hebron. It looks like most of this heavy activity is to the north of Hebron, but we're talking about very serious thunderstorms now, capable, as I mentioned, of producing 70-mile-per-hour winds, along with that 1-inch size hail, and storms moving anywhere from 35 to 50 miles per hour. Some additional very strong thunderstorms continue across north central portions of Kansas. There's the one warning for Harlan in Nebraska and Phillips County in Kansas in effect till 4:45. That's the one that had softball size hail reported to the north and west of Phillipsburg about 15 minutes ago. So we are talking about the possibility here of 4-inch in diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds with that cell that you can see just to the north of Phillipsburg in Kansas, and then also looking at storms for the western portions of, or the eastern portions of those areas in effect until 5:15 this late afternoon and early evening. So once again, we'll go back up to the Lincoln area. We apologize for breaking into your programming, but this is again going to be a pretty serious situation, at least for a period of time. Those severe thunderstorms now rumbling across portions of Seward and Saline as well as Fillmore counties. Those polygons have been coming fast and furious over the last hour or two, and again, the loop mode. We apologize for the missing frames in there, or where it looks like there's information missing. You just really need to pay attention to those last couple of frames, and that's right there. Brandon's taken it out of loop mode now, and once again we're looking at just that storm tracker radar image. Brandon, any information that you're seeing from anywhere? We're going to stay on this image here for a little bit. Lancaster County again will be under this warning until 5:30, so we've got time to go here, and it looks like now would be the time to be making sure that you're doing whatever you can to be prepared for those 70-mile-per-hour winds and the potential of up to 1-inch size hail. Any information to pass along, Brandon?
We did get a report of 3 miles east of Friend in Saline County, a 59-mile-per-hour wind gust. So there's already at least a confirmation of at least up to 59 with these storms. Again, capable of producing up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts right now.
All right. If you go up in my show there that you're in, let's show folks the severe thunderstorm watch that we've got in effect now till 10 o'clock. Again, officially it's until 10 o'clock, but these storms are moving a little bit ahead of schedule, at least in some locations, including southeastern Nebraska. So there's the severe thunderstorm watch for portions of south central, southeast, east central Nebraska, as well as northern Kansas. Officially, that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. So that's the situation as far as the watch area is concerned. If you move ahead one frame, Brandon, I think it'll give us the a little bit more of a regional look as far as the severe weather is concerned. So on Storm Tracker, again, you can see now the bulk of the strongest storms continue to move towards southeastern Nebraska and into the southeastern Nebraska area. Also have those warnings back across northern Kansas. But again, everything's shifting off towards the east and shifting quite rapidly. Remember, we have that cold front that continues to move across the state. We talked about this yesterday. I was going to set the stage for severe weather, and that's what we're looking at now. The transition from the very hot, humid conditions we've had so far this week to what we'll see later on this week. The transition period is this thunderstorm activity now along that cold front and the severe thunderstorms that have been developing over the past, 60 minutes to 90 minutes or so, and again, continuing to slide towards the east. So that's how things look right now. Unless we get some additional information, I think we're going to send you back to regular programming. We wanted to make sure we took a couple of minutes here to make sure that you are prepared for the possibility or the potential of 70-mile-per-hour winds with some of these storms as they continue to track out of Seward and Saline County and across Lancaster County. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw perhaps an additional warning for Gage County, maybe even Saunders County. Right now, those counties are not included in severe thunderstorm warnings, but Lancaster County is. And again, that warning for Lincoln and Lancaster County runs until 5:30. That's about 45 minutes from now. And of course, we'll have continuing updates coming up in the 5 o'clock newscast here in just about 15 minutes. If we get additional threats or we get additional information to pass along to you, we'll break into programming at a moment's notice. But that's where it stands right now. Brandon, before we send them back to programming, anything you want to add?
No, just continue. This is going to continue in through the evening hours. So if you're out ahead of these storms, be ready. You're going to see these storms eventually make it towards your area. We'll see if eventually, if they're still severe when they get to, say, Nebraska City or Pawnee City or Beatrice. But again, we got very large hail possible. Some of these storms there in northern Kansas, especially, and then some strong wind gusts. Between 60, 70 miles per hour possible. So be careful.
Pretty good looking shelf cloud too. Let's, Travis, if you can punch up current conditions in the capital city, or at least the Skyview camera. We're looking at some rather ominous clouds moving in from the west, so that is certainly an indicator that we're going to be looking at the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms. One other thing we want to remind everybody is that meteorologist Bill Rentschler is going to continue to stream severe weather information. So once we send you back to programming, and again, we will break back in if the threat gets worse as far as the capital city is concerned, or there's more significant information to pass along to you. But meteorologist Bill Rentschler is on the 1011 streaming channel, so you can certainly join him and stay up to date with the latest. And if we need to get back into programming or get back into the Weather Center here from programming, we'll break back into programming. But right now, again, you're looking at the latest storm tracker radar image. Those the leading edge of that severe line of thunderstorms continues to push into western portions of Lancaster County. We're looking at folks in Seward and northern Saline County getting hammered pretty good right now. Also looking at least some severe weather off to our south and west, and those storms are going to continue to move to the east as well. So a reminder, catch meteorologist Bill Rentschler on the streaming channel. Right now, unless, Brandon, you've got one more, I know you're checking the latest National Weather Service information there, the chat room, making sure that we're giving everybody anything that we've got. Nothing new?
Nothing new right as of right now.
All right, then what we're going to do right now is send you back to regular scheduled programming. Again, check in with meteorologist Bill Rentschler on the streaming channel. He'll continue the severe weather coverage, and we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes.
Hi, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio, again bringing you some severe weather coverage as strong to severe thunderstorms continue to roll through the area as we're going to head over the next few hours. And again, we've just been listening to Chief Meteorologist Ken Shimmick, again doing his cut-in from the 1011 studios. And again, these storms are going to be threatening the Lincoln area here as we head over the course of the next half an hour to hour or so. Again, just to kind of start folks off Again, a zoomed-in look of Lincoln and Lancaster County here. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that encompasses the entirety of Lancaster County. That goes until 5:30, so another 45 minutes. The primary threat with these thunderstorms, at least right now, is for damaging wind gusts, potentially as high as 70 miles an hour. Right now is what we're looking at, the potential. But storms have been able to produce some large hail as well, especially storms down across northern Kansas. But with this particular storm that's going to be pushing into Lincoln and Lancaster County, quarter-sized hail is basically what we've been looking at. So right now, again, this thunderstorm, if we zoom out just a little bit, really just pushing into the western sections of Lancaster County. So again, pushing through Seward and Saline counties over the last half an hour or so. So again, that's sort of a severe thunderstorm, currently number one, but we have a couple of them that are currently on the board. Still have the severe thunderstorm warning for Seward and Saline County. That's going to expire in 15 minutes. Again, that's 70-mile-an-hour winds, as well as quarter-sized hail possible with that storm. Down just to our south and to our southwest, we zoom in here just to the north of Hebron. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Clay, Fillmore, and Nuckolls and Thayer County until 5 o'clock. Quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible with that storm, and it continues to push to the east. And again, I mentioned those storms down across parts of northern Kansas. If we kind of move the radar down that direction, you can see this particular storm is beginning to push into Phillipsburg, eventually going to be pushing into Smith Center, but 70-mile-an-hour winds and 4-inch hail. That's about the size of a softball. Again, so those folks down across northern Kansas, in Harlan, Phillips, and Smith counties down there in northern Kansas, this is definitely a storm that you want to pay attention to. Folks in Smith Center out ahead of this storm, definitely a storm you want to pay attention to. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings can kind of have different categories. There's sort of your base warning. There's a level in which what we'd call it considerable damage being possible, and then there's a level that we'd call it destructive, and that is where this level currently is right now. So 4-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds with that severe thunderstorm down across parts of northern Kansas. Again, back here, Lincoln and Lancaster County, it is moving our way, but not here quite yet, although we did just have the light splash here in the building, and thankfully all my computers are still up and active, so that is good news that at least the generator must be working. So again, but that storm is going to be moving our way here as we head over the next half an hour to 45 minutes or so into the Lincoln and Lancaster County area. And again, the primary threats would likely be damaging wind gusts as well as quarter-size hail. Again, kind of zooming back out, just kind of establishing kind of where we're at right now. Wanted to show you the Storm Prediction Center outlook for the day today. Again, this was updated at the midday update. We were not included in the enhanced risk, and then the Storm Prediction Center did make some changes to that, including a good chunk of eastern Nebraska in that enhanced risk for severe weather. So again, the slight and the enhanced, that's levels 2 and 3 out of 5 on our severe weather sort of threat scale. So that means we're looking at scattered to potentially numerous severe thunderstorms, and so far that's what we've seen this evening. So that's the severe weather outlook for the evening. But if you drill down, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's been issued for southern, southeastern, east central sections of the state through 10 p.m. tonight. And again, the primary threats as we head over the next several hours will continue to likely be damaging wind gusts and large hail, areas of torrential rain. There is a threat for some tornadoes tonight, but that threat I think is pretty far on the low end of the spectrum. So that is good news. It's a non-zero chance, but it is something we'll continue to keep an eye on. So again, if you look at statewide satellite and radar, what the radar loop looks like over the last several hours, we can see, again, this cluster of storms. It was a line of storms that kind of was almost perfectly right in the center of the state, diagonally kind of stretching from up near Norfolk back down, kind of down towards McCook and Imperial. And everything's been pushing basically to the east as we've headed through this evening, a little bit to maybe to the south and east, but kind of as expected with all of the instability that we have had in the atmosphere lately with how hot, how humid it has been. Storms have really upped their intensity over the course of the last hour or two. So not surprising with that. Just looking at the National Weather Service chat, storms are looking very likely to produce a surge of wind along and north of I-80. All right, so again, National Weather Service basically just noting that, again, wind right now looks like the primary threat for Lincoln and Lancaster County. But there's the satellite radar picture. Again, the loop over the last 4 hours or so as all this activity continues to move down to the east, and you can see all the activity that's developed down across portions of northern Kansas over the last hour or two. If you check out what Skycast looks like at 5 o'clock, doing a mixed bag of a job on actually kind of displaying what we think might be happening at 5 o'clock. That's in 10 minutes. Not really too close to real world conditions, but just to get the general trend of what we think is going to be happening as we head through Wednesday evenings. Basically, everything pushes basically due east as we head between now and 10 o'clock tonight. Again, 10 o'clock is when that watch ends. Certainly think most of the strongest severe activity by that point is either going to be out of the area or should have wrapped up by then. If not 10 o'clock, then certainly by midnight tonight we should see much quieter conditions by the time, again, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight rolls around. So going back here to the storm tracker radar here, zoomed in on Lincoln and Lancaster County. Again, we can start to see storms have now begun to kind of almost right along and just to the west of Highway 77 is where we're currently seeing those storms. I'm going to punch up, do some dual pane with my radar scope. Okay, and so again, this warning for Lancaster County is going to be until 5:30, and again, that is for 70-mile-an-hour winds as well as quarter-sized hail. And it looks like here, if I can punch up Lincoln Skyview, it is currently now raining here in the capital city, and we can see the camera bouncing around pretty good. And it looks like actually Chief Meteorologist Ken Shimmick is currently on with an update, so we're going to go ahead and toss to Ken for just a moment.
Remember, we remain under that severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. Let's go back, Brandon, before you go there, and let's go back to Skyview and show folks the picture that we're seeing now as we look back towards the downtown area here in the capital city. So again, very strong winds, damaging winds continuing to work their way through the Lincoln area. Looks like we're seeing some transformer flashes, some power flashes there. Again, we're talking about a serious thunderstorm doing damage as far as the capital city is concerned. Thunderstorms moving in. So this is what we need you to get to your safe place as quickly as possible. This is a very serious situation now moving through the Lincoln Metro. So again, this is a live shot looking west out Skyview here. We're looking down Vine Street towards the west. This is the strongest part of these thunderstorms now moving through and threatening the Lincoln Metro. So this is going to continue to be the situation for at least the next half hour. At least that's the way it looks right now. So we'll go from our live Skyview shot to try to get the radars punched up here for you now so we can see. Again, these are numbers from the airport. You can see Midtown here, we were still reporting 94. And then 92 degrees at the airport with winds gusting to 50 miles an hour. That's at the airport. Again, we continue to see power flashes indicating the possibility of some down power lines. So again, now we're looking at storm tracker radar. We are continuing to watch these severe thunderstorms now moving through the Lincoln Metro at this time. Brandon, you've got some information.
Yes, it looks like National Weather Service is getting reports of many tree branches down, 60 to 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts. In fact, it looks as though the latest warning that's about to come out for Lancaster County, or update to the warning, is going to include maybe some wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour possible with this line moving through.
Well, that's certainly why we got back in as quickly here as we could. We could see the situation, and it looked like we were seeing power line flashes or power flashes, the possibility of damage from high winds in the downtown Lincoln area. And again, you can see these thunderstorms now on storm tracker radar that continue to hammer portions of southeastern Nebraska, including Seward County, including the Lancaster County area. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Not only heavy rain, probably some dangerous lightning. Don't know about hail. Certainly haven't been any reports of hail at this point. But again, this line of thunderstorms responsible for winds potentially over 70, maybe up to 80 miles an hour, doing some damage right now across the Lincoln Metro here just a couple of minutes before the hour of 5 o'clock. We remain in this severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30 here in the Lancaster County, all of Lancaster County, including the Lincoln Metro. And again, the main cause of that severe thunderstorm warning was the potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So that's the situation as far as radar is concerned. Brandon, let's zoom in a little bit in towards the Lincoln Metro and get a little bit better idea here, if we can, of what we're dealing with across the metropolitan area. So earlier, probably within the last 10 minutes, we've been watching those power flashes, which, again, no confirmation, but it looked to me like we were looking at power flashes, which might indicate the possibility of power lines coming down as we're looking towards the Lincoln Metro. So we'll check out some additional information here. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. This one just issued by the National Weather Service in Omaha for Lancaster County, western Odo, southern Saunders, and southwestern Cass. I'm going to step back on the screen here. This warning is going to go into effect until 6 o'clock at 4:53. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Valparaiso to Lincoln to 3 miles northeast of Hallam, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. These are destructive storms for Lancaster, Saunders, Cass, and Odo counties. 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible, along with quarter-size hail. So these are the storms that we're looking at right now. This is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Lancaster, western Odo, southwestern Cass, and southern Saunders County, in effect until 6 o'clock. Winds possibly up to 80 miles per hour associated with these severe thunderstorms now as they continue to push to the east at about 25 miles an hour. As these storms moved out of Seward and Saline County into Lancaster County, the forward speed was easterly at 50 miles per hour. Now the the forward speed of the storms has come down a little bit at 25 miles per hour. That means we may be dealing with these strong destructive winds for a longer period of time. So Brandon continues to zoom in here. You can see Lancaster County. You can see we're talking about Highway 34 here, O Street, across the Lincoln Metro, right in the middle part of town. Certainly had wind gusts to around 50 miles an hour about 5 minutes ago at the Lincoln Airport, but now those winds are probably much, much stronger than that at this point. In fact, Brandon, let's try and punch up the Lincoln sky view once again if we can. And we'll give folks an idea of what it looks like out there. And you can see occasional flashes of lightning. Certainly the visibility has dropped significantly. Looking at significant range, you can see the camera shaking rather violently, but again, with the potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour winds with these storms as they're rushing through the Lincoln area, that's not a surprise. And in fact, the heat and humidity that's been building up over the past couple of days certainly allowed this to happen. As a cold front approached from the west, we had such great instability, not only today, but really the past couple of days. And now we've got current conditions, at least at the airport, with the temperature having fallen to 74 degrees. We made it to 100 degrees. We made it to 100 degrees earlier this afternoon for an afternoon high with heat index values well over 110. And now we've got westerly winds at 35, gusting to 59 miles an hour. That's the report from the Lincoln Airport at 4:58. And the temperature has dropped 25 degrees in just probably the last half hour. So we're looking at these significant thunderstorms, dangerous thunderstorms rolling through the Lancaster County and Lincoln metropolitan area, with that warning continuing now. The newest warning for Lancaster County and portions of Odo, Saunders, and Cass counties now in effect until 6 o'clock. So that's our live shot. We'll go back to radar, Brandon, if we can, and show folks, maybe give them a little bit wider view of what's going on. But obviously, if you're in the city of Lincoln or close to the city of Lincoln, you're dealing with these kinds of conditions right now that you can see on the Lincoln Current. So we'll back to radar now. Here's again that line of thunderstorms. We're looking at the most intense thunderstorms right now from around, I'd say Ceresco, back through the Lincoln Metro, then back just to east of Wilbur, with some weaker storms down there by Beatrice. Still looking at some very heavy thunderstorms that continue around Geneva, moving off towards the east. Those storms appear to be weakening maybe just a smidge, but again, we are dealing with thunderstorms capable of producing up to 80-mile-per-hour winds for the Lincoln Metro, and now we're looking at torrential rains here in the capital city as well. This is Midtown here. The studio is Midtown Lincoln, and you can barely see the cars with their lights on down Vine Street right now at 5 o'clock. It is 5 o'clock, and it almost looks like 9 o'clock outdoors at this time here in the capital city. So torrential rains, dangerous lightning, and then the possibility of 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts across the area right now, across the Lincoln Metro area. And we're not the only ones, although the warnings, again, have really shriveled up, if you will. About an hour ago, we were probably looking at between 6 and 10 severe weather warnings across the region, and now we're down to just a couple, also a couple across northern portions of Kansas, but the Lincoln Metro area getting hit the hardest right now. Brandon, any information from the National Weather Service chats, from any locations reporting any damage at this point?
Have not seen anything since the last update that I gave you. Just consistently getting a 59-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Lincoln Airport right now. Still seeing, again, strong line of storms moving through. The warning, again, going until 6. That includes portion, not only Lancaster County, but part of Cass, Odo, and Saunders counties as well. So if you're still east of this line, be prepared for some very strong winds, up to 80 miles per hour possible. So if you're Ashland towards Eagle, there into western Cass and Odo County. I mean, we're talking about Elmwood, Syracuse, while you're Weeping Water, while you're not in the warning, this line of storms is heading towards you. Waverly, you're probably right on the edge of this line that's moving through Hickman there into the southern part of the county, of Lancaster County as well. So Palmyra, Douglas, Eagle, Ashland, get ready. You got this line of storms heading towards your area at this time. And just kind of widen out to show you that there are a few more storms across south central Nebraska, and then we're dealing with those storms down in northern Kansas as well. Some 3 and 4 inch diameter hail possible, that storm that's between Phillipsburg and Smith Center right now, as well as some 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So don't want to forget about those of you in Phillips County and Smith County as well, as you're dealing with those severe thunderstorms. But again, we do have, again, Lancaster, Cass, Odo, Saunders counties under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6 for up to 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some quarter-size hail.
Rain rate right now here at the Lincoln Metro looks like it's between 2 and 3 inches an hour. That's the rain rate falling here at the studio at this time. So again, we're looking at radar. This cluster of thunderstorms is obviously the most significant cluster now that's left. Again, the dynamics of this cold front have changed significantly over the last hour. During the 4 o'clock show, Brandon, you had several. I mean, at one point we probably had 10, if not 12 different severe weather warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and now we're down to just a couple. And in fact, it's almost like we have seen a strengthening of this particular storm as opposed to all the other storms that have weakened significantly, except for those couple in northern Kansas.
Right. Well, of course, this front now moving into an environment where the temperatures were well into the 90s, dew points well into the 70s, so plenty of moisture for these storms to feed off of, and into an untapped environment that's a little more unstable. So not surprising that some of these storms have kind of strengthened as they've moved into that environment. And again, you're talking about those 2-3 inch rainfall rates. Now we're talking about the potential of, those low water areas, low crossing
Absolutely.
areas. Be aware. You could see some street flooding in some areas, so just be aware. Might have some flooding to deal with in some areas, so just be aware. Hopefully you're staying, at your wherever you're at right now, and not trying to venture out into these kind of conditions.
Absolutely right. And again, easterly movement on this line of thunderstorms at 25 miles an hour. That was the last report from the National Weather Service office in Omaha. So as you mentioned, Brandon, this is kind of your heads up for folks in Cass and Odo County. Obviously, folks in Saunders County are looking at very heavy thunderstorms, but again, it's the strong winds that could be well out in front of the precipitation shield that you could be dealing with even before the precipitation gets into your area. And I think that was pretty much what was happening here the view on on our Skyview camera was not so much rain, but the dust that was being blown around, the power flashes that it looked like we saw. And again, no confirmation on that, but things like that you just don't see those kinds of things on Skyview very often. And so at least to me, this observer, it looked like there were power flashes of some kind, and that was probably due to those destructive winds that were blowing in not only the dust, but obviously the severe thunderstorms as well.
Yeah, that's right. You get what we call those gust fronts that are happening. You know, you get a line of storms like this, you get a bit of a gust front out ahead of it, and that's where you're likely going to see your strongest winds. And that was what was happening, as we were seeing on Skyview coming into the capital city, was that gust front, that shelf cloud. You may have seen that if you were outdoors before this moved in. That's what we had. So a strong, severe line here that is moving through parts of southeastern Nebraska at this time. And so you're likely going to see that heading towards Ashland, Elmwood, Palmyra, also Eagle, Douglas, just to name a few communities. So if you are in far eastern Lancaster, if you're in western Cass, western Odo County, and you haven't seen this line moving through, you're likely going to get those strong winds first, and then you're going to get some very heavy rain moving through as well. That's what we're seeing here in the capital city at this time. Again, some rain rates of maybe 2 to 3 inches an hour, it looks like at this point.
Well, and it's not going to make the big news right now, but as you mentioned just a couple of moments ago, we could be looking at some flash flooding in some areas. That's certainly going to be possible with the heavy precipitation that's associated with these thunderstorms. And again, that's another reason not to be out on the road. And we hope that folks are getting to their safe spot and staying there for a while. This is not going to be an all-night event, but we are talking about these severe thunderstorms continuing to move through the Lincoln Metro for probably at least the next hour, or at least close to it. So we're going to continue to have to monitor this situation as things continue. Once again, severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight for a good chunk of eastern and southeastern Nebraska. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler just stepped in. Bill?
About 10,000 people without power in Lincoln, according to LES.
10,000 people. 10,000 people in Lincoln, according to LES, without power right now. Thanks, Bill. So that's the latest information from LES. 10,000 of your friends and family without power right now in the Lincoln Metro as this line of severe storms continues to roll through the capital city and points surrounding Lincoln. So again, the watch in effect until 10, the warning in effect until 6 o'clock. There's a look at the severe thunderstorm watch, and easily the strongest storms now. The strongest storms now continue over southeastern portions of Nebraska in the Lancaster County area. We're talking about Seward, we're talking about Saunders County, and eventually Cass and Odo County. We got some information, Brandon?
Looks like in the last 5 minutes, we have had a gust at the Lincoln Airport, 79 miles per hour, sustained wind west at 54, gusting to 79.
Sustained wind at 54, gusting to 79 miles per hour, and obviously severe weather criteria, severe thunderstorm warning criteria is 58 miles an hour or greater. So you almost have sustained winds at that level at this point at the Lincoln Airport. So this is not getting any better. This is probably getting worse for folks that are out there and about right now. So we're down to 70. We're down to 70 degrees, and in fact, you can see on your screen an 83 mile per hour wind gust being reported right now at the Lincoln Airport. 83 mile per hour wind gusts. Sustained winds at 58, wind gusts to 83 miles per hour, and that is damaging wind moving through the Lincoln Metro. So please, folks, make sure you are in your safe spot. And that you stay off the roads if you absolutely possibly can. This is probably about as bad as we've had it around here. Visibility, good point. Brandon just pointed out the visibility is down to a quarter of a mile. So we've got quarter of a mile visibility with these severe thunderstorms as they continue to race across the Lincoln Metro. And winds in excess of 80 miles per hour. You're talking about weak tornado wind speeds now. As far as those straight line winds are concerned, and they can certainly do an awful lot of damage. As I mentioned, I think we saw some power flashes. Now it looks like on Skyview we're getting some lightning, but according to meteorologist Bill Rentschler, here's information from the folks at the Lincoln Electric System. LES here in town, there's at least 10,000 people without power right now in the capital city. So I mentioned that I wasn't sure whether those were power flashes or not. It certainly appears that that was probably the case here within the past half hour. So we've got some information that power is out at 27th and Capitol Parkway, 33rd and Vine, reports of trees down across town. We're talking about trees down across town, power outages across all corners of the Lincoln Metro right now. So every bit as serious as we thought it would be. Brandon, what have you got?
According to the National Weather Service, looks like latest from them is that Lincoln Airport observation, the most recent one that you see there on your screen, could be the result of a downburst from a thunderstorm that intensified near the Malcolm area. So
Okay.
that's what it's looking like caused this 83-mile-per-hour wind gust. Could
All
be
right.
a downburst.
Let's go back to radar, show folks radar, and we'll try and loop that once again so folks get a real good idea what we're talking about. Again, if you just missed it, Cole handing me this information, power out here in Lincoln at 27th and Capitol Parkway, 33rd and Vine, reports of trees down across town. It's not just branches, this is a report of trees down across town, power outages across all corners of Lincoln. And as we mentioned, we had a report just about 10 minutes ago of at least 10,000 people here in the Lincoln Metro without power. And I would be surprised if that number hasn't increased, if not increased exponentially in the last 10 minutes with what we're dealing with now. So let's widen the view a little bit. I think everybody gets the idea that the entire metro area is being inundated now with these severe thunderstorms. So if we give you a little bit wider view, you can see again the thunderstorm cluster that is responsible for these warnings continues to march off towards the east. At last report, according to the Weather Service, it was 25 miles per hour, but there have been reports between 70 and 80 mile per hour wind gusts with these storms as they continue to push towards the east, towards the Cass and Otoe County areas, and then on towards the Omaha area. It looks like we also have reports coming into the station that parts of a roof have come off a motel near the Lincoln Airport, where we had, again, these reports of 83 mile per hour wind gusts. So we're talking about extremely serious situation across the Lincoln Metro, situation that for a lot of folks may be worse than the Arbor Day tornado. At least a more widespread situation here affecting more people. That was certainly a very serious situation back on Arbor Day with the tornadoes and the Garner Industries damage. And then as those storms move towards Bennington and Blair as well as Elkhorn. But this is impacting almost the entire, if not the entire Lincoln Metro area, certainly most of it. And then we're talking about almost the entire Lancaster County area as well. So the warning continues now till 6 o'clock. We are, it does include southern Saunders County and western portions of Cass and Otoe counties. Again, anyone within this cluster of storms around it or near it could be looking at winds 70 to 80 miles per hour, torrential rains, dangerous lightning. And now we've got the new warning. The new warning is just going to pop up here on your screen here. So I'll let Brandon pull that off the weather wire for me, and then we'll leave Storm Tracker radar on there in loop mode. This newest warning is a severe thunderstorm warning for Sarpy County, Central Otoe, Douglas County, Eastern Saunders, and Cass County until 6:15. Severe thunderstorms, excuse me, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 2 miles southwest of Meade to 3 miles southeast of Greenwood to 4 miles southeast of Palmyra, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Here's some additional information. This is an extremely dangerous situation. These storms are producing widespread wind damage across Lancaster County. You should be seeking shelter now inside a sturdy structure, staying away from windows. Torrential rainfall is also occurring with these storms and may lead to flash flooding, as we mentioned just a few minutes ago. So again, this newest warning is for portions of Sarpy, Otoe, Douglas, Saunders, and Cass County until 6:15. Storms now moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Main threat, 70-mile-per-hour winds, the potential for quarter-size hail. These storms have a history of producing widespread wind damage to trees, power lines, and structures across Lancaster County. So that's the latest from there. Brandon, anything you want to add to that?
New observation coming in from the Lincoln Airport. Northwest wind is now northwest at 47, but still getting gusts up to 83 miles per hour.
Still gusting to 83 miles per hour at the Lincoln Airport. So these areas that have already reported damage are still getting hammered. They are still getting hammered. This is not like a fast-moving line of thunderstorms that hits hard, and then moves on. We are still looking at a good chunk of Saunders County and Lancaster County that are continue to be blasted by these severe thunderstorms as they continue to push towards the east, to the east at around 40 miles per hour. So once again, try and loop that for us, Brandon, so we can kind of give folks an idea of the movement of these storms and how much longer we're still going to be looking at this severe thunderstorm activity. It continues to work its way to the east now.